Terrifier 3 came out last year and I reviewed it on this channel, and one of my biggest critiques about that movie was how brutal it was. But it wasn't brutal towards just any type of person. Art the Clown went after kids. The very first scene, he goes upstairs to the boy's bedroom and successfully gets the kid, let's just say. And the biggest argument towards that was, well, they didn't really show anything. You just got to hear the kid being the victim of Art the Clown and the axe, right? And I thought, I was like, I don't care. That was pretty brutal. How could they have a kid be the victim of such atrocity, right? Well, now we are in 2025 and I've recently watched two movies that dealt with this kind of thing, right? I watched Black Phone 2 recently, as well as VHS Halloween. Now, let me start with VHS Halloween. That movie was pretty good. If you are a VHS fan, VHS franchise fan, that's definitely a movie you gotta watch. But there is a segment in that movie that deals with children, teenagers, being the victim of this sadistic, evil person, evil guy. And you get to actually see them being victims of this, right? And I just thought, like, man, that was one of the segments I didn't like about the movie. Probably my least favorite part of the movie was that, because you got to see it, you got to hear it, you witnessed the whole thing, them being tortured. And not just that, the very end of the movie, you have the haunt house segment. It's Halloween. These people go into this haunted house that this guy made. But at the very end, you have a witch who flies through the neighborhood on her broom, and you get her POV because she grabs a camera. And the very last thing you see is this kid being carried by this witch into the sky, and some very gruesome thing happens right at the very end of the movie. And I just thought, man, that was very disturbing to watch, to see this kid these kids be the victim of such thing. And finally, recently I saw Black Phone 2, which, granted, Black Phone 2 is about the grabber who goes after children. That's his whole thing. That's the whole premise of the grabber, is he goes after these kids, and kids are basically the victim. I can't remember what happened in Black Phone, the first Black Phone, but Black Phone 2, there was some gnarly scenes in that movie. I mean, if you haven't watched it, this is a spoiler alert. I thought it was good. Very slow pace, but it was creepy. There was some good jump scares. I would watch it in theaters. And two of the most memorable scenes from that movie was when Gwen has her dream and she sees these kids underneath the ice. But in one of them, you get to see the kids' face actually split in half. Now, was it absolutely disgusting and over the top? No. It wasn't that bad, but still, to me, it was a bit shocking to see that sort of thing. And not just that, there's also a part where this kid is looking through the window. The grabber breaks the window and he slams the door over his head, making it split. Back then, there was this kind of unwritten rule about not showing the kid being killed, right? You can't show that. That is a boundary that horror movies are starting to push towards, I've noticed. I'm not sure if I really like it, to be honest. And I kind of wanted to ask you guys if you guys felt the same way. Is this new boundary something that is worth taking, where you start to show more kids being the victims? Or should we just not show any more kids again? The thing about horror, as well as many other things like art and music, is that there is always this boundary being pushed. What is the next boundary? What is something that we have to push? Are we going to show more kids being victims in horror movies? That's the boundary that we are at right now. Because you also have Nosferatu. That movie came out last year, and there is that scene where Nosferatu is sucking the blood of the daughter, one of the daughters. I can't remember whose. Again, it kind of surprised me. I was like, wow. Was it brutal? No. But the fact that it was a little girl, it made me feel some type of way. Again, I'm not sure if it's something that's just me. What do you guys think? Is it something that surprises you guys when you see in a horror movie? Is this boundary worth taking, worth pushing in horror movies? Let me know in the comments below. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.